Hello and good morning, everybody. You are back live with the crew. Good to have you guys back. I'm here on location here at my campsite, as you can probably tell, and I thought I'd give you a quick little spin around. This is the old camper that I sit in all the time, record videos in the old girl, and today we're at Red Rock Cliffs State Park in the Eastern Sierra, California. On our way to Sedona, as many of you know. Some of you and I will be doing a meetup there pretty soon. 2-3 days, I guess, this coming weekend. I believe it's Tuesday. Haven't had any internet, so it's been a little tricky here for us today. Last night and today, it's been different kind of a show for you here this morning. But driving yesterday, I heard a lot of I get to hear a lot more YouTube and a lot more what people doing and talking about. So when you're on the road, you get to take in what other people's content is. And I found it to be pretty interesting. What I've been missing out on and catching up on everybody else. But the big talk these days really is about banking. It's about what XRP and what stable coins and how they're all going to work together. All of this is going to be, as they say, to be played for. It's going to be very interesting to see the connections and the usability and the use case between these three, being banking, stable coins, and crypto. And anybody that thinks they've really got all that figured out is clearly mistaken, because it's obvious to me that the committee and the commission and all the people that are still putting it all together really are learning what the strength or the ability of stable coins is going forward for all of us. I hear a lot of chatter out there about people, well, what do we need XRP for if we have a stable coin? We don't need both. In some instances, I believe that to be really true. There's going to be some day-to-day transactions, or even people wanting to save money in certain things. They're probably less likely to use a stable coin to save money. That doesn't make any sense. You might as well just use fiat or hold fiat digit. That's not what we're going to use those for. I think your in and out savings account will be more about like your XRPs and your XLMs and your HBARs and Bitcoin to some degree. Bitcoin's seems to be a lot more national and a lot more institutional at this point, being a strategic reserve. Now the stockpile coins that you and I also have are going to be interesting in the sense that you're going to be able to exactly that, stockpile different coins in different ways. Elizabeth, you can put that wherever you want over there. I'm right in the middle of breakfast, so you can join along here. We're having a little bacon and eggs here. I thought I'd get this quick video out. I just had some really cool show notes from my drive yesterday. Those stockpile coins are going to be, they've told you who the winners are. We know who the winners are. We know those. We don't know, because I just started the videos. Allan, what are you talking about? We don't know the actual winners yet, but we're being told by the people that are creating the whole system that there are three or four coins that Trump tweeted out that we're going to be using to stockpile. So those are significant going forward for, if nothing else, stockpile it. That's what they plan on doing. It's not a strategic reserve. I think the clarity of those two things is going to come out a little bit better going forward. I don't know if anybody caught it. One of my favorite economists got into what the Swiss are all about. The Swiss dropped their lending rate to a lower level than anybody. It shocked everybody in the banking community. I know a lot of people don't believe this yet, but it's true. We're headed back to zero. In fact, the Swiss even mentioned that it wouldn't be a bad idea for us to get back to zero for some period of time, because the last time we did it, we overprinted, and they sort of feel like they got the handle on what they did wrong in 2020. And now I think that with the use case of the digital money that they plan on using, and the people in the Eurozone are going to be using, are going to be CBDCs, as you and I know. I'm not a big fan of any of it, but I think they're going to try and pull it off. And then by doing that, I think what they're going to create is a need for all the other coins, because people are going to say, CBDC, that's not what I want. It's too much control. They can shut me off. I don't like it. I have to spend my money by a certain date. I don't want any of that. But they're going to hand it out like candy, because why? What did the Europeans say last week? This is really, a lot of people got caught off guard by this. But the ECB came out, and basically the representatives came out and said, oh yeah, we'll see, we have this $8 or $9 trillion worth of private money that we can access or leverage. And the room should have went quiet. It didn't. That money in all those European banks, they plan on leveraging against. I don't think they're going to seize it. I don't think that makes a whole lot of sense. But let's remember too what happened in the US in a smaller court. They basically came out and said, your money, your cash in your account is not your property. What? Now it's a lower court, and it hasn't gone anywhere, and they got a lot of explaining to do. If you ask me, you worked hard for that. Happens to be your money. I don't see why it wouldn't be your money, except for the fact that you and I know they are all banknotes. A note is nothing more than a bond. A dollar bill is a bond. The only difference between a 10-year bond and a $1 bill is the fact that the $1 bill is redeemable today at this moment. 10 years redeemable in 10 years. Remember that. So that's how these banks are starting to get tricky with us, the public, and say, hey, we know where all the money is because the public has it. Well, we earned it, right? But they are like, well, we don't know how many more rabbits or prints we can do out of a hat. We better go ahead and make sure that we can find a way to access, like they did in Greece, where they leveraged people's bank accounts, to put it mildly, reduced their income to the level that, well, we have to do this or otherwise we can't exist. Well, you can't exist because you've overprinted, you've over-governmentized your nation, if that even is a word, and you've decided that all of this, the way that you spend all this money, you've decided to tax us all with this inflation. This inflation, understand, is taxation. There's no other way to go about it. If they can't fund something, they simply print something. If they can't get public approval to fund something, they will simply print it and do what the people would not agree to purchase or have the government buy, funds or studies or different things that they would like to spend money on. They simply print more money, and they use that money to do the sometimes nefarious things that they don't want the public to know about, so they get to do that. That burden is put upon the people in a form of taxation because of inflation. Yet now they have this perfect opportunity to say, what is creating all the inflation in the world? It's Donald Trump with the tariffs. It couldn't be us that are, breeding hamsters in Zimbabwe. It can't be that. It can't be that. It's got to be the tariffs. And yeah. Anyway, we all know where that goes. So I'm really looking at May, and I started looking at May because if you look at what the Swiss banks did, if you look at what they're talking about doing, if you look at what Trump's trying to do, he's trying to reduce the value of the dollar. It's being successfully done at this moment. If they can get down the value of the dollar, they can get it to the point where they can borrow against it again at a cheaper rate to pay off the higher rate, which is almost $9 trillion owed this year alone. So they're going to be able to go ahead and get that paid off at a lower, cheaper rate. So we need ZIRP back, zero interest rates program. We need it back, and I think they're headed there. Europe, however, isn't in the opportunity to do that the way other countries are, so they're going to have to pay, and it's going to be a lot more severe for them. That's why I think they're talking about taking people's money, and that's why I think Donald Trump is completely against the CBDCs. I think that's why they want to do the CBDCs, because I know they have no other alternative. They're in a lot of trouble. They don't have the GDP to pull off these economics. I don't want to get too totally economic geeked out on everybody here this morning. After all, we are on vacation here. I want to talk about Davos real quick, because those people are squealing. When you hear the loudest people complaining in the room, you realize they're starting to feel the pain and the pressure, and they don't see a clear way out. They've lost control. Okay, they felt like they had financial control over Bitcoin. They felt like they had financial control over the gold market. They've clearly lost the gold market, and they've clearly lost the Bitcoin market and the crypto market. I'm gonna use them all as one term there. They've lost that market, and they've lost control of it, and now it's eating them. This is real value that you and I understand. Precious metals and solid crypto that can't just continually print more of these crypto. And this is the battle that they've lost. And what they're going to do is try and say, oh, this CBDC is just the same as a crypto, and it's the same thing, and you can use it whenever you want. In fact, we're going to hand them out to you like candy. This will be their downfall. It already has been their downfall. They're just going to kick the can down the road and repackage a brand new failing product, in this man's opinion. There's people like Larry and other people that have left Davos. I think he truly has. I'm not sure. I don't really know. I don't know the man. I wish it did, but I don't. And Trump and some of his people, clearly Jay Powell has left that ECB or that European Davos crowd. I don't want to make this video too long, but he's no longer LIBOR. He's no longer dealing with allowing the Europeans, in particular the UK, to price gold and other assets and say you have to use this value that we determine. No. Those days are gone. It's going to be every nation for themselves here pretty soon with banking. It's really important that you and I understand where we are in this whole picture. These are just some of the notes that I got over listening to other people's shows over the last couple of days. I'm going to be driving again all day, right after breakfast. We will be back on the road. I'm headed our way to Sedona. We're going through Laughlin. If you've ever been there, Bullhead City, Laughlin, beautiful. Probably stop in there and check out. We might spend the night in that area. But we got the little camper out. We're running around and plan on having a great week, and I will do more of these videos. Sorry I can't post them right away, but when I get internet, I will download it. And with that, I wish you all a great week, and I love you all very much, and I will be back with you soon. I'm out.